Okay, Councilor Sykes.
I'd like to offer an amendment, and the amendment would strike the text of the current ordinance, and I'm sorry, we need to pass this out before I go to follow. This ordinance would establish a Panhandler Action Plan Committee and task it with creating a comprehensive program to improve the lives of panhandlers and reduce panhandling in Cranston. The committee would consist of one person designated by the mayor, the city council president, the city council minority leader, the police chief, Crossroads, Rhode Island, the House of Hope, the Comprehensive Community Action Program, CCAP, and the Rhode Island Commission on the Homeless. And the committee shall recommend changes to ordinances, state law, police policies, and social programs to reduce panhandling. It may also recommend to the city and the city council and the mayor spending up to $250,000 over 2 years to address the panhandling problem. That's my motion. I'd like to go into a little more detail if I get a second.
I'll second. The clerk would like to know where your plan is to insert this.
I would strike the current ordinance in its entirety. And substitute what I just proposed. I thought a lot about doing this. I am skeptical of forming committees when obvious solutions are available, but I don't think obvious solutions are available in this case. And I also, Councilman Lanny and I met with retired police officer Al Davis, and he gave us some information. He spoke at the last meeting, but he gave us some information about a Fort Lauderdale County in Florida, and they got it online. I'm sorry, not Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach County in Florida, and they put together a committee like this, and they did a lot of statistical work focusing on which intersections were really problematic, and they also they did a lot with signs and leaflets telling people if they wanted to contribute to the problem of homeless people that there were numbers you could call for different agencies. And this was a committee somewhat like I'm describing here, with a lot of different interests. And what they, in their report, their assessment, they did not entirely get into the panhandling, but their assessment is, I'm going to read from it, a severe decrease in panhandler presence in and around the target intersections occurred. The percentage of traffic crashes at targeted intersections decreased by 10.5%. Donations to the non-governmental organizations increased through the use of the created new donation avenues, texting, and internet options. So there's this whole thing online, I think is something like 40 pages. Has all the pictures of the signs and the things. And I think with some hard work, and a lot of it would frankly fall on the police department from my reading of this, we could reduce panhandling. And we could do that, and it would be hard, but it ultimately would have a chance of success. And the current ordinance does not have a chance of success.
Thank you, Council President. Through the chair to Councilman Stichels, this is certainly not an amendment. It also has a budgetary implication, which requires a fiscal note, which should probably be part of the budget process, because we don't have authority to use $250,000 at this point for any committee that hasn't been already authorized. So I think it's interesting. I mean, obviously the idea, not a bad idea, to form a committee and try to help. Find it difficult to believe the state hasn't already done something about it, because since they have so many millions of dollars that have been expended on this, we have, as you know, $275 million budget, which most 85% of it is contractually obligated. So, but we are willing to help anyone in the city. We never shy away from that. But to suggest that this is an amendment to the ordinance is nonsense. Your analysis, I think, if you're reading the case, but that isn't the only case on point, and it is a national issue, and there are cases all around the country. And the First Circuit may or may not be the one that ultimately decides that if it does go there. And as you know, they've been wrong before. So there's always the law evolves. It doesn't necessarily, it isn't static, and that decision really doesn't apply on all four corners, especially because you said all medians. Our ordinance doesn't apply to medians, and it doesn't apply to every street in the city. One of the things that you mentioned is the number of miles. I hope you're not suggesting that on a very lengthy street such as Reservoir Avenue, that it's okay to be in the middle of that street where people are going 40 miles an hour and standing there and soliciting. If that's a safe venture, then that's fine. But the reason it's 75 miles is because these streets can be very long, and anywhere in between the intersections is probably the most dangerous place you could ever stand. So I think that you can propose it as an amendment, you get a second, but I certainly would not support it in this fashion. If you want to bring it in another, as a issue for one of our committees or for the full council form committee, that's fine. And that may, have quite a bit of support, but as an amendment, this should look to be an amendment in my understanding.
Councilman Lamb.
I was fortunate enough to be with Councilman Stichels when we met with Al Davis. And he gave us the Palm Beach County report. And it showed the various ways that county lessen the amount of homeless people on their streets, especially at busy intersections. This draft, this amendment that Councilman Stichels is basically what happened in Palm Beach County. It was a humane way to take care of the homeless. And as far as the monetary for $250,000, we're going to spend at least that much of legal fees. So my idea, and I'm sure the administration and the majority members of this council will agree with me, take that money, instead of making lawyers rich, put it in a program that will help the homeless and get them off the streets. Because they're not going to go away. No matter what we do, they're not going to go away. And the reason why they're not going to go away is they're homeless. Where are they going to go? They're going to go to side streets. They're going to be in front of Burger King asking you for a few dollars before you drive through the drive-thru. I think what Councilman Stichels and myself are looking for the same exact thing. some compassion from the members of this council and its mayor as far as what to do with homeless people. We can't drive them out of Cranston, we can't ignore them, we can't tell them, go somewhere else, or we're gonna ticket you or do something, or the police will chase you out of Cranston. This is not a Gestapo city. You can't force these people out of our city. They're here to stay. What we have to do is work on ways to get them in a position where they're no longer homeless. And what we're doing tonight with this particular ordinance is the exact opposite of what we should be doing. And that's why I'm saying, that's why I'm voting against it. Thank you, Council President.
I have a motion, I have a second, everyone who wants to spoke on the amendment has spoken.
I'd just like to briefly reply to a couple of points that
Okay.
Mike Vecchio made. First of all, the budgetary impact, I would agree with you, but what this says is the committee would recommend $250,000, up to $250,000 of spending. So it's still up to us whether any money, and the mayor, if any money gets spent. So that's the first point. It doesn't allocate any money by voting for it. And to your point about people standing in the middle of the street, it's against the law to sort of wander around in the middle of the street currently. And so that, I'm sure when the police see it, they enforce that. Thank you.
Thank you, President Farina. Government is the art of compromise, and I think my colleague, Councilman Stichel, has submitted an amendment to try to compromise the situation. The original bill, I don't think will pass muster in the federal court system. This amendment does set up a commission to address panhandling. It's a start. I'll be supporting the amendment. And I urge my Republican colleagues to do so, and let's settle this in the art of compromise. Thank you.
Okay, since no one else would like to speak on the amendment, I will add my 2 cents. Totally eliminating the ordinance as written, amending it with something that should be a separate resolution or a separate law is not really a compromise. I will support this if we would like to bring it back in the form of a resolution, budget adjustment, something to basically say that this is the will of the body to establish a committee to look at these things, and I would like to ask more input on who the members of the committee are. But this is not an amendment to this law. This law has to deal with solicitation on roadways, not specifically panhandling. So I appreciate the idea, but I will be voting no against the amendment as it's not really an amendment to this law and it's not germane to this law. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman?
No.
Voting on the information.
Voting on the amendment.
Which
We're
motion?
voting on Councilman Stichels' amendment to strike the whole law and replace it with the action committee language. So a no vote would be to not go forward with his suggestion and continue on discussing the ordinance that we amended in the last meeting. Clerk, please take the roll. I'm sure Councilman Lane will change his vote.
Councilman Lanning?
Yes.
Councilman Hopkins?
No.
Councilman Stichels?
Yes.
Councilman Foley?
Yes.
Councilman Mandel?
Yes.
Councilman Colbert?
No.
Councilman Rosas?
No.
Council Vice President Vecchio?
No.
Council President Farina?
No. So, any further discussion on the ordinance as amended without Councilman Stichels? The ruling was 5-4, straight down party line, Councilman Marquardt.
What a shame. What a shame. What a shame.